The air is heavy. The streets of Jerusalem tremble with whispers. The story that began with light, hope, and miracles is now moving toward a storm that cannot be stopped. This is not just another chapter, it is the beginning of the end. The camera glides across the ancient city. Stone walls stand tall, but shadows linger in every corner. The people are restless. Some whisper of freedom, others of fear. The name of Jesus is on every tongue, spoken with love by his followers, spoken with suspicion by those in power. The miracles, the crowds, the teachings that turned hearts upside down have shaken the world. Yet with every sign of wonder, danger has grown closer. The scene shifts. Roman soldiers march through narrow streets, their armor clashing like thunder. Their eyes scan the crowds, searching, hunting, waiting for a moment to strike. Behind them, religious leaders gather in secret, their voices sharp and angry. This man must be stopped, they say. They see his words as a threat, his presence as a danger. The miracles that healed the broken, the mercy that lifted the fallen, it all feels like rebellion to them. We cut to the disciples. Their faces are filled with both awe and worry. They have walked with him, laughed with him, seen him calm storms and raise the dead. Yet they feel the weight of what is coming. The closer they move to Jerusalem, the heavier the air becomes. Peter's eyes burn with loyalty, John's with quiet sorrow. Even in their faith, fear whispers, the music swells. The narrator's voice drops lower. The journey that began with hope now approaches its most heartbreaking chapter. The camera captures Jesus standing in the midst of the crowd, calm, steady, unshaken. His eyes are fixed not on the chaos around him, but on the path ahead, a path that only he knows will lead to the cross. The screen fades to black. Words appear. The end begins. The world once watched in wonder. A carpenter's son from a small town turned the world upside down with nothing but words, compassion, and a fire that could not be contained. He healed the blind, lifted the lame, calmed storms with a whisper, and fed thousands with almost nothing. Wherever he walked, the broken found hope. Wherever he spoke, hearts were stirred. This was more than a teacher. This was a man carrying a message no power could silence, but light. When it shines too brightly, attracts the eyes of darkness. The miracles drew crowds, but they also drew enemies. With every step, the tension grew. The religious leaders watched. With unease, their authority shaken. The Roman rulers saw a spark that could ignite rebellion. The people were divided, some shouting his name with joy, others spitting it out in anger. The disciples felt this growing storm. They had seen the laughter of children running to him. They had seen the dead breathe again at his command. But now they also saw the glares, the tightened fists, the whispers of betrayal. Their hearts were torn between faith and fear. Could this truly be the Messiah, if danger kept closing in? Could this be the king who would rise? Even as threats circled like vultures overhead, the screen shifts, quick flashes of the past. Jesus breaking bread with the hungry, walking across waves, lifting a child into his arms. Each image lingers for just a moment, like memories fading before a long night. Then the images change, dark alleys, secret meetings, the glint of silver coins. The narrator's voice carries a weight heavier than before. The message spread, but so did the resistance. Love was offered, but so was betrayal. The journey forward would not end in glory as men understood it, but in sacrifice. As the music grows tense, the image of Jerusalem looms larger. The city stands like a stage prepared for history's most painful performance. Above it, storm clouds gather. A sense of destiny fills the air. The man who changed the world walks toward the very place where the world will try to silence him. The camera lingers on his face, sorrowful, yet unshaken. He knows what waits ahead, yet he does not turn away. The city does not sleep. Behind locked doors and guarded walls, plans are whispered in the dark. The sound of coins clinking on a wooden table marks the birth of betrayal. A friend, once trusted, now walks a path that leads to ruin. Judas's eyes shift with unease. his hands trembling as he accepts the silver. To the leaders, he is an answer. To the disciples, he is still a brother. But soon, the truth will cut deeper than any sword. Outside, the streets of Jerusalem grow colder. Roman soldiers sharpen their blades, preparing for orders they don't yet understand. Their faces show no emotion, but their presence alone is enough to spread fear. Every clang of metal is a warning. The net is closing in. The disciples feel it. Around the firelight, their voices tremble as they speak of what lies ahead. Peter swears he will never leave him. John remains silent, watching with eyes that carry sorrow. Others shift nervously, unable to name the dread growing inside them. They cling to hope, but hope feels fragile against the weight of shadows pressing closer every hour. Meanwhile, the leaders grow bolder. Their patience is ended. They see crowds gathering around Jesus, hanging on to every word he speaks, and it terrifies them. To them, this is not salvation, it is rebellion. They whisper of blasphemy, of lies, of danger. And in their whispers, the decision is sealed. Jesus must fall. Yet in the middle of this rising storm, Jesus walks calmly. His words remain filled with love, his steps steady, his purpose clear. Where others see fear, he sees destiny. Where others prepare for war, he prepares for sacrifice. The narrator's voice cuts through the tension. Betrayal brews in the shadows. Fear spreads through the night. And prophecy moves closer to being fulfilled. The camera lingers on Judas, standing alone, torn between loyalty and greed. His eyes reflect both hesitation and resolve. In the distance, torches flicker. The night of betrayal is almost here. The night grows heavy. The noise of the city fades, replaced by the quiet of the garden. Among twisted olive trees, Jesus kneels. Alone, the moonlight falls across his face, revealing the weight he carries. His lips move in prayer, his voice soft, but filled with agony. Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me, yet not my will, but yours be done. The words hang in the air like a plea, yet his resolve does not break. A short distance away, the disciples struggle to keep their eyes open. Their bodies are weak, though their hearts ache to stay near him. They do not see the full battle he fights in that silence, the struggle of flesh against destiny, of sorrow against surrender. He prays not for escape, but for strength to endure what none of them can yet understand. The scene shifts. Around a table earlier that night, bread was. Broken wine was poured. Its words still echo. This is my body. This is my blood. It's given for you. The disciples looked at one another in confusion, not realizing he was giving them a final gift, a memory that would outlast the pain. In that meal, he showed them love beyond measure, love willing to bleed, love willing to die. Faces linger. In the dim light, Peter grips his hands tightly, determined to stand firm. John rests close to his teacher, silent tears slipping down his face. Mary's eyes reflect both sorrow and strength, as if her heart already knows the cost of what is coming. Each of them feels the weight of change pressing down, yet they cannot name it. Back in the garden, Jesus rises from the ground. His face, though marked with anguish, glows with peace. The decision is sealed. He will walk the road no one else can walk. His love will carry him forward, even if it leads to a cross. The narrator's voice falls to a whisper. Love, tested by sacrifice. Faith, tested by fear. And a choice made in the stillness of the night will change the world forever. The screen darkens, leaving only the sound of wind moving through the olive branches, as if creation itself holds its breath. The night is pierced by the glow of fire. Torches flicker against stone walls as soldiers march through the darkness, their footsteps echoing like drums of war. The stillness of the garden is broken by steel, by boots pressing against the earth, by voices shouting commands in the shadows. The moment has arrived. From among them steps Judas, his face is pale, his eyes restless. In his hand, he carries not a weapon, but something far heavier: guilt. The silver coins weigh on his soul, though not in his pocket, each step toward his Master feels like chains tightening around his heart. Disciples see him approach, confusion mixing with relief. He was their brother, their friend. How could this be anything but good? But then he leans in. Kiss. A gesture meant for love twisted into betrayal. The garden explodes with chaos. Soldiers rush forward, their hands gripping swords and spears. The disciples stumble back, shouting, panicking. Peter draws his blade, his voice breaking as he strikes in desperation. But Jesus, calm, even in the storm, reaches out to heal the wound of his enemy. He does not fight. He does not run. He surrenders not to men, but to the will of his Father. The camera cuts to the disciples' faces. Fear burns in their eyes as they scatter into the night. Their promises of loyalty vanish under the weight of terror. The teacher they swore to protect now stands alone, surrounded by enemies. Bound by ropes, yet unbroken in spirit. In the distance, the leaders watch, their eyes filled with grim satisfaction. To them, this is victory. To Judas, it is the beginning of regret that will never leave him. And to Jesus, it is the first step toward the cross. The narrator's voice deepens, filled with both sorrow and power. The kiss of a friend became the strike of an enemy. The night of betrayal became the dawn of sacrifice. And the shepherd was struck, so the sheep scattered. As the soldiers drag him away, the torches fade into the darkness, leaving the garden. Empty, silent, cold, forever changed. The sound of a crowd rises like a storm. Shouts echo through the stone streets of Jerusalem. Some cry for justice, others cry for blood. Jesus stands before them, bound, his face marked by exhaustion yet still calm, his eyes steady. Pilate's hands tremble as he looks upon him. The Roman governor, a man of power, feels powerless before this moment. With water dripping from his fingers, he declares, "I wash my hands of this." His words do not silence the cries, they only sharpen them. Chains rattle. Soldiers drag Jesus through the courtyard. The crack of a whip slices through the air, followed by his groan of pain. Blood stains the stones beneath his feet, yet he walks forward. His body weakens, but his resolve does not. Each strike, each insult hurled from the crowd only pushes him closer to the destiny he came to face. The camera cuts to his crown thorns pressed deep into his skin. Blood runs down his brow, but his eyes lift toward the heavens. In those eyes, there is no hatred, only sorrow and love. A love that refuses to be broken, even as his flesh is torn apart. Then, the world darkens. Clouds roll heavy across the sky, thunder rumbling in the distance. A wooden beam rises against the storm. The shadow of the cross cast long across the earth. Lightning splits the sky, and for a moment, the silhouette hangs against it, broken yet unyielding. The narrator's voice swells, is carrying both grief and triumph. The end of his journey is the beginning of everything. What men see as defeat, heaven knows is victory. What the world tries to silence, eternity cannot forget. The screen cuts to black. Only the sound of a heartbeat remains, echoing faintly, as though the world itself is waiting for what comes next. Darkness fills the screen. No faces, no sounds of war, no voices shouting, only silence. Out of the silence comes a single sound, the slow beat of a heart. With each thud, the silence trembles, as if creation itself is waiting for what comes next. Then faintly, the image of the cross emerges. It's not in full light, but in shadow, towering, unshaken, standing against the storm. Around it, the world seems to fade. Time itself feels as though it pauses to look upon this moment. The place where suffering meets destiny. The place where love takes its final stand. The narrator's voice returns. Soft at first, almost a whisper. This is not the end. It is the beginning. The music swells not with triumph, but with a haunting beauty. Slow images flash across the screen. The disciples weeping in the dark. Mary clutching her heart. Judas alone with his torment. The Roman centurion lowering his eyes in doubt. Each image is quick, like glimpses of grief scattered across the earth. Then silence again. The black screen fades into bold, burning words. The chosen, Season 6, Episode 1, Beneath It. A final line appears, coming soon. The heartbeat fades. A single drop of rain falls, then another, till the sound of distant thunder swallows the silence once more. The trailer ends.